Hello everybody, welcome back to the Sega Driven YouTube channel. I'm Sonic Yoda from SEGADriven.com. Now, we finally got the final Sega release on the Gamecom to look at, and as you can imagine, that is Sonic Jam, because obviously we featured the other two. So yeah, Sonic Jam for the Gamecom, oh my god. So if you're not aware of what Sonic Jam is, the original Saturn release is a collection of the first 4 Sonic games on the Mega Drive, with enhancements and an additional 3D Sonic World area which you can explore and access things like movie galleries and that. It's a great collection, one of the best ways of playing the Sonic games on a different system. Yeah, like I say, it's got enhancements and bug fixes and all that jazz. It's a really good collection. This, on the other hand, is not, and it's actually the weakest port of the 3 Sega games that we're going to look at on the Gamecom, unfortunately, which is a real shame because, to be honest with you, most of my experience with this machine has been pretty, you know, quite surprising, to be honest with you. Most of the stuff I've played on it is not nearly as bad as everybody seems to make it out to be, but unfortunately, this definitely is the exception to that rule. So yeah, the case. It's using the Sonic R artwork for some reason instead of Sonic Jam. So well done, Untitled Electronics, for sourcing the wrong artwork there. Some screenshots, a little description of what the aim is, but yeah, I've just explained it to you anyway. Let's have a quick look inside, and I'll show you the cartridge and the instruction manual quickly, just because we've been doing that in the other videos. These little cartridges, which I really love. They've got 2 labels on, so you can see what it is when it's in the machine, which is a nice idea. So yeah, nothing special there. Here's the manual. It's all in grayscale, but just printed in different shades of blue. Some screenshots and some descriptions of what the hell's going on in this thing then. Yeah, it's pretty typical stuff. So, let's actually have a look at the game then, shall we? Gamecom active. There we go, that's the words I just said. Cartridge, Sonic Jam. So, this is quite an experience, this thing. So we got background music in this one. God knows what it's supposed to be, because I don't recognise it as being any sort of Sonic music itself. And if it's trying to be, it's not doing a great job of it. So, let's open the menu. So we got Sonic 3, Sonic 2, Sonic and Knuckles. And back down to Sonic 3. We're missing Sonic 1. So yes, basically, what you're going to see is that each of these Sonic titles are basically the tile set from the first stage of each game, and then rearranged into different stages. And that's the only tile set you're going to see in each of these areas. So for instance, Sonic 2, you're going to see the Emerald Hill tile set for every stage, just with different layouts, so to make them, you know, feel like different stages. And when you get to a boss, it will just be the boss battles throughout the game, but like in the Emerald Hill tile set. So you'll see like the Chemical Plant Zone in Emerald Hill. It's a bit bizarre. Same thing with Sonic 3, so you'll get Angel Island tile set repeated for loads and loads of stages. And then Sonic and Knuckles, you'll obviously have Mushroom Hill repeating over and over and over. So let's go into Sonic 2. Also, before I click into the game, you'll notice it doesn't say Mega Drive or Genesis on any of the cartridges. It actually says Tiger Gamecom. That's because obviously these aren't actual ports of the games. They've been sort of rearranged to work on this system. So let's click into the action. You can select from Sonic, Tails and Knuckles, which is quite nice. So we'll click into Sonic. So here we go. Like I say, you've got some music. So the ghosting in this really does affect it quite badly. And as you can see in certain areas, the frame rate will drop dramatically, something like 5 FPS. It's mad how bad it can be. It seems to be worse when you're going around loops and corkscrews. Don't know why, but that's just the case. You can spin dash, but you don't sort of charge it by pressing the button over and over. You just hold it, and then that's how you do the spin dash in this, or super spin dash. And again, the momentum feels really strange. You notice how like slow it felt as I went up there. You don't seem to gain momentum very well. They've obviously had a lot of difficulty trying to make the momentum-based physics of the Sonic the Hedgehog games work on this thing. Look how slow that is. Oh. So yeah, this is really slow to play, and that's kind of, you know, defeating a lot of the point of the Sonic titles, in that like speed is kind of the name of the game with this. So yeah, not great. You'll also, I'll have to demonstrate it at some point, but if you try and go up an incline at using Sonic's just walk instead of the super spin dash, he'll often sort of find himself rolling back down a very like a high incline. It's just oh, there's no momentum to it at all. It's really bad for that. So look, for instance, if I go down here and start to run up, I'm already going to get pushed back down, and it's like it's not that steep an incline at all. Oh, just made it, and I'm dead. Right, let's go into one of the other titles, and I'll show you some of the different tile sets, because these are the only 3 that you're going to see. We'll pick a different character as well. We'll go with Knuckles this time. So yeah, here we go. This is Sonic 3, and like I say, it's just the Angel Island tile set, so it's all you're going to see throughout each of the stages in this sort of game, I guess, is what it's trying to convince you that it is. I actually had a lot of difficulty trying to complete this stage, because it ends in the sort of the spiral tube gimmick that happens at the end of Angel Island, and for whatever reason I couldn't get the character to actually climb it at all. It just didn't seem to work whatsoever, so I was stuck and I couldn't progress at all through the stage. You also don't have any of the extra abilities that the character is supposed to have, so Knuckles doesn't glide at all, which is a bit rubbish. So yeah, it's really not great at all. It suffers from the same problems as we've already looked at. It's slow, the momentum is almost non-existent, and you will just sort of seem to roll down very like not particularly steep inclines. So yeah, for instance, like that. It's just the most boring thing to play in the world. Let's see if I'll show you a little bit more of the stage before I give up on this. I'd like to be able to show you the gimmick that I can't get past, but we'll see if we can get there at all, because I might just get so bored that I'll have to go and do something else for a little bit. And I don't think we're that far through the stage either. Great. See, there's a spring there, and you can't even see the damn thing. It's just so like embedded in the actual scenery there. Let's have a look at a little bit of Sonic and Knuckles then, and we'll call it quits on this, and we'll obviously use Tails as well, so you get something else to look at. Does Tails fly? Oh, he does! So they actually bothered to put Tails' extra ability into the game, but not Knuckles. That's strange. Alright, so off we go then. We'll have a little muck around in Mushroom Hill for a bit, eh? Once again, frame rate's terrible. Seems to slow down in certain areas where there's lots going on. Momentum physics just don't seem to work correctly. That sounds like something. I'm familiar with that. That sounds like Flying Battery. Oh, I can actually recognise one of the tunes. Okay, so it is attempting to actually like emulate songs from the actual Sonic games. Oh, it's so rubbish though, isn't it? The rest of the song doesn't sound like Flying Battery. And why is the Flying Battery song playing in Mushroom Hill? I also don't like the fact that it plays the sort of standard damage sound, like when you lose your rings, when you actually die. Right, can I be bothered to continue playing this? Because I'm really not having a good time. You know what? No, I can't. Let's get out of it. So yeah, there you go. That was Sonic Jam on the Gamecom. Possibly the worst of the Sega ports onto this system. And possibly the worst Sonic game I think I've ever played. It's not enjoyable at all. There's so many barriers to actually having a good time with this that you just do not have a good time at all. It's a really dull, really badly running game that doesn't seem to emulate the physics of an actual Sonic game very well at all. And yeah, it's really not a good time whatsoever. It doesn't feature any sort of like variety. You see the same tile set for the entire time, and yeah, it runs absolutely terrible. Frame rate drops all over the place. It is without a shadow of a doubt, I think the worst Sonic game that's ever been released, with an official Sega stamp on it. And you know, if you think about what sort of company that is, you know, putting that in, so things like Sonic 06 and Sonic the Hedgehog Genesis on GBA, yeah, it's pretty bad. This definitely the worst Sonic game I've ever played. And a shame really, because like I say, I've been enjoying mucking around with the Gamecom. Most of the games I've played on it have not been nearly as bad as everybody seems to make them out to be. This, on the other hand, is definitely as bad as it's made out to be, and I would not recommend it. If you are curious about this, please do not spend a lot of money on it. It is an oddity, yes, and I'm sure that makes it desirable to some people, but unless you're a Sonic fan that needs to have everything, there's really not a lot here for anybody to actually enjoy.